Welcome back to HPL, or the PvP Live Studios here in Frisco, Texas. I'm joined by Nathan, that's Admirable Zamora. I'm Tannen Grace. You know what? We just saw our match get evened up at 1-1. Is Dog finally going to lose a match here in HPL?
Yeah, I mean, it's anyone's guess at this point. You know, night and day from the first game and second game. Both of these guys queuing up the same decks again against each other. You know, maybe Dog made that adjustment, though. We didn't see Acidic Swampoo's game 1, I don't believe. But game 2, we saw 2 of them in his handlock deck. And despite the fact that he took out 2 Death Bites with them, Zalae still won the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them re-up again, kind of like we saw the purple match last week against Muzzy, where they just queued up the same decks 4 times. Neither person wanted to give an inch. Anyway, we're going into game 3. Dog versus Zalae.
Well, Dog going to continue to queue up handlock here, and Zalae, he's had enough of this. He's going to go over with Hunter. And let me tell you what, Hunter is such a good deck oftentimes versus this handlock deck.
Yeah, you can really punish them for using their hero power because you're so aggressive out of the chute half the time, and then your hero power matches up so well against theirs, you can really, really set them back a ton.
Yeah, still Acidic Swampoo's in this deck, and looks like it actually may be able to get something done coupled with this Eagle Horn Bow, but pretty good opening hands, I'd say, from both these players. Acidic Swampoo's Mortal Coil over for Dog, adds an Ancient Watcher to it.
Ancient Watcher is great, yeah.
Picks up like a Shadow Flame or some taunts, could be very useful. And Zalae got a pretty nice curve here. He's got Twilight Drake, he's got Iron Beak Owl to help check Twilight Drakes, and he's got Pilot and Shredder to keep pressure on board.
Yeah, great hands from both of them. You see the second Acidic Swampoo, so I think there's a chance you might actually see an Acidic Swampoo just hit this board for no value early, just to get something going for Dog here.
Yeah,
just to get a minion in combat.
Dog actually mulliganed the Mountain Giant that was opening in his opening hand as well, and something that that's a nod to is the fact that he will be early on, not often, no, we're not always committing to just life taps and then Mountain Giant afterwards. Wants extra options available to him. In this game, it looks like it's going to be Mountain Giant to me, but that's not his game plan, I think, moving into it. So actually, I love the fact that he'd mulligan that from his opening hand.
Yeah, you're going to see this Mountain Giant most likely next turn. Now, Zalae adds a Pilot Destroyer to his board, getting a little bit of damage in here. Not one of the fastest starts you've ever seen from a Hunter deck, but he has a ton of stuff backing this up. And you saw an anti-Keelbot added to Dog's hand there, so that's going to be pretty big in this game.
Yeah, Zalae now going to have to really, take his time and figure out exactly how he wants to play this turn. Kill Command and Pilot Shredder can deal with with Mountain Giant, and then leave himself the extra minion off of the Piloted Shredder, but he's losing a lot of damage if he does that. And something this deck wants to be doing is applying a lot of pressure to your opponent and putting them in those uncomfortable positions where they're the ones who are having to make decisions.
Yeah, it also takes up his entire turn if he does that as well. So we're going to see like how much he values taking out this Mountain Giant, or if he wants to leave it around, because Dog can really race you. In your mind, you have to believe that Dog can race you from these situations because he could play something like Sludge Belcher next turn.
Yeah, also the possibility of it taking 8 damage, or also just pushing face. So Dog can be able to get a little bit of Acidic Swampoo's value here, but it's sitting at 17 already. You know, how comfortable is he with this board position?
He can't be super comfortable with his board position now. He did pick up Siphon Soul. That's going to help out a little bit with whatever minions are left over here over the next couple turns. He can cleanly answer, not cleanly, but a Nat Pagel. You know what? I didn't think Kranich was playing here tonight.
We saw Kranich play Nat Pagel twice in these matchups already. Just going to go with Mountain Giant and Pilot Shredder. Actually, pretty excellent from Zalae here to know that Dog is going to be the one trading in this match instead of racing in this position. But Acidic Swampoo's couldn't have been happy to see that. But Lotheb, a very, very strong follow-up, I think, to this kind of board position. And that's going to shut off the possibility for Siphon Soul. You know, normally you'd be able to check your opponent's minion going into turn 6 with a Siphon Soul, but not if that minion's Lotheb.
Yeah, Lotheb, again, very, very good against decks like this, but Dog has some pretty good stuff going next turn if he wants. He has something like Emperor Thorson that he can put into play after trading with the Lotheb with his Mountain Giant. So he's got a lot of stuff going for him going forward. Also, if he ever picks up like Sun Fury Protector, it's pretty good. You saw him actually place his Ancient Watcher in the middle there on purpose. So, if he wants to taunt up, he gets the Mountain Giant and the Ancient Watcher. Zalae, couple options this turn. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of any of them. Lotheb is great. It gets you a 5/5 on this board, but I can see the game going back into Dog's favor after this turn if something like that happens.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like a comfortable board position by any means, I would say. But you have to do something about it. At this step of the game, you have to really make a stand and figure out where you're going to go in your game plan. He's going to choose to be a little bit more defensive here. Has a lot of gas to follow it up, though. Does have Lotheb and Savannah Highmane to follow this turn. So not a big surprise to see him do that. But, because something else Dog has to do is probably has to take care of this Nat Pack. The last thing you want to do is let the Hunter deck draw an extra card every other turn.
Yeah, I like this play a lot from Zalae. You're going to have to play for a little bit of a longer game. As I said, you were going to feel the game kind of start to slip away if you did that. And, I mean, it just seems like a much better play to me, Dog. Yeah, I was going to say, you're playing around the Molten Giant that you think is probably in Dog's hand as well. If you really push for a ton of damage there, and he has something like Molten Giant, Molten Giant into Sunfury Protector, you're in like a really bad spot.
Yeah, so attack into Nat Pagel does draw an extra card for him, by the way.
Caught one.
Yeah, Houndmaster and Freezing Trap added to hand. But, you know, is Zalae going to feel comfortable leaving this Emperor Thorson around for a turn, though? Or is this a turn where he's going to really start pushing damage? Because once again, he's kind of got that position in front of him where he has to do something, and he has to do something kind of right now if he really wants to get this ball rolling. And a lot of these options do not cleanly answer everything that's going on. You know, plenty of ways to do things, but they're not exactly the best ways that you want to be doing all of this. So to me, it kind of looks like Houndmaster into the Haunted Creeper, run over this Acidic Swamp Ooze, and then Freezing Trap back behind that to make sure this Emperor Thorson doesn't have any clean attacks afterwards. But
yeah, I kind of agree with that play, but again, none of these are like super outstanding for Zalae here.
Leaving Emperor Thorson around is such a scary proposition. We've seen players do it before, and it's just absolutely been disastrous at times. And it looks like he's going to go with Savannah Highmane. Is he trading, or is he, you know, taking it upstairs?
Yeah, he's trading.
I have to believe that favoring trading is a better opportunity.
Ooh, Malorn picked up.
Yeah, Malorn going to be a 9-power minion, potentially getting on the board. Ironbeak Owl, I think, is fairly good from Dog at this point, able to silence out that Savannah Highmane and take care of it straight away. And just so much going on for Dog at this point. I mean,
what a great
at this
turn.
point, he's successfully protected an Emperor Thorson, and it's going to be pressure to the face. Love that he's turning up the heat here, too.
Oh, yeah, you 100% need to be attacking here. You need to get this game over with as soon as possible. You don't want to give Zalae outs of just grinding you down for the rest of the game with his hero power.
And with the extra mana that he's coupling behind this Emperor Thorson, he's going to be able to ramp up the pressure a lot more than Zalae's going to be able to moving forward. And again, Dog is at 19 life after that Siphon Soul, and Zalae's not playing a face hunter deck, so he can't just, you know, turn up the heat when he wants to and start pushing damage to face. He's got to invest into his board position and hope that it pays off.
Yeah, now there's a couple plays Zalae can do this turn. There's like Quick Shot on the Emperor Thorson attack, 2 minions into it, but it may have already done so much damage you have to ignore it for the rest of the game. That may be a weird thing to think about, but at this time, it's like, how do you win from this spot? And then you could maybe play something like Knife Juggler and another minion. I mean, like, none of these seem great again. Zalae's draw this game has not matched up exceptionally well against Dogs. But yeah, it looks like he's going to take care of the Ironbeak Owl.
Yeah, I think this is really the direction he has to go. This is something I think I would have liked to see him do last turn, is kind of, you know, push the action with the way that this Freezing Trap was going to work. He finds a position to do it this turn as well, though. But I think the Emperor Thorson getting multiple triggers at this point might have been too much.
Yeah, I mean, and again, Dog can just ignore this Lotheb if he wants, just start to push for more damage and do something like Dr. Boom Anti-Healbot this turn.
Yeah, it looks like it's what he's going to go for as well. I can't blame him either. I mean,
he probably won't even attack either in case this is something like Freezing
Oh,
Trap.
no. I would never attack at this board position. Honestly, you probably can just couple it. At this point, you could probably just play the Acidic Swamp Ooze for pressure and hope that that's really going to get the job done. So, and Dr. Boom going to be the first one. Anti-Healbot going to come down afterwards, and then it's a matter of whether or not he wants to play that Acidic Swamp Ooze. I mean, this is a dangerous board position versus something like Unleash the Hounds, though. Is just going to continue to grab his extra mana, but this is looking really bad for Zalae all of a sudden. No Unleash the Hounds in sight.
Yeah, he's 2 Knife Jugglers. If he were to have something like Unleash the Hounds, he could really get a ton of value off that. But this board position, just look at Dog's side of the board. This is so imposing. Look at what's going on over there. I mean, everything going right for Dog this game. Zalae's draw has just matched up very, very poorly against him. And look at this, he's about to get a free Twilight Drake over the next turn. This Twilight Drake costs 1. Yeah. This Shadow Flame costs 2.
This
Emperor Thorson has been adding so much mana.
Everything that Dog draws is pretty much going to be very much live for the rest of the game. I mean, this deck is so dense with late game threats, and the fact that he's gotten so much mana off the Emperor Thorson, even gotten 5 points of damage out of it as well. I mean, Zalae has to do something. He wants to maximize the value for this Freezing Trap, and the last thing he wants to be doing is giving Dog another copy of Anti-Healbot when he's in a damage race in some step of the way. I mean, he cannot afford to continue grinding this game.
Yeah, he's going to have to take care of this Anti-Healbot, yeah.
Yep, so it's going to be Knife Juggler. Looks like Knife Juggler, and then possibly Ironbeak Owl to follow this up. Yep, going to take out one of these Boombots. Hopes that he can pick off these Boombots, and isn't going to get both of them. Doesn't get any of them, actually. And what on earth is going on? Zalae just going to scoop it up and not even continue to play this game out. I mean, that's a very early concession, I would say.
Yeah, just maybe a turn too early, maybe too. Like, see what you draw. You never know. I mean, he might not have something like Unleash the Hounds in his deck, but what if, you know, he just pushes for a ton of pressure and attacks you, and you draw something like Unleash the Hounds and something crazy happens? I mean, it does look like you're dead, but finish the game out.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but he's still at plenty of life. You know, Dog's hand could just be full of dead cards. That's also a possibility. He could continue to
just be, like,
abstain
all
from
Shadow
attacking in
Flames
positions. I mean, there's no telling what's going to happen in that spot. Very much don't like the concede in that position. At the very least, you've seen him play Acidic Swamp Ooze. What else does he have in his deck? That extra information could be very valuable.
Yeah, and you've seen Dog queue up the same deck here 3 games in a row with Acidic Swamp Oozes in him, just straight up targeting Zalae. Zalae has to feel like that. Maybe that's a little bit why he got a little bit of the early concession. He's like, oh man, I'm just getting so targeted here in this matchup. It's so rough. What is Dog going to do to finish off this match? Do you think he queues it up for a 4th game in a row?
Yeah, I think Zalae absolutely needs to finish that game in one way or another. At the very least, make him kill you to figure out what's going on. But either way, Dog continuing to exercise his dominance in this matchup so far. Has queued up Handlock 3 times in a row, and so far it's been working beautifully for him. He finds himself up 2 games to 1. If you guys want to check out the recap for yourself, you can head over to pvplive.net and see everything that's happened in this match so far. Full stats breakdowns, full recaps of the games, exactly how these players have been playing their strategies. And when we come back now, Dog is at match point, and he's got 2 more games to do it. And if Zalae's going to win this match and keep himself in a winning position, he's going to have to win 2 straight. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.